Yes, backwards Tanduay, Generalao, and Padim Israel, and then Fernandez, Ubalde, and third kill will play the front card.
The game is underway amidst a crowd of about 12,000 here at the Ultra, notwithstanding the heavy downpours we've been having all day today as a result of the monsoon rains. Here is Arnie Tuatles. The turnaround is no good. Padim Israel on the right place at the right time for the defensive rebound. Juan Fernandez picks it up from the floor. He's harassed, and they finally bring it to the front court. We're 30 seconds into the ball game. Score, love all. Here's Freddy Ubalde getting the baseline, going to Mon Fernandez. He fires one of Philip Cesar and misses. The rebound going to Mr. Michael Young. And here's the famous great pace fast break at work. Oh.
Okay, follow up there by Alan Kaidik. That's the key. That's the key man for Great Taste Coffee. Joe, I was going to say earlier, but we had no time for it, that fast break points, Great Taste only scored 11 in the first encounter, Tanduay 18. And 11 points, that's nothing for Great Taste Coffee. They were averaging 29 fast break points coming into this final series. So they'll have to go to their fast break game, definitely.
So the Rum Makers beat them on their own game in game number one, eh? Right. All right, the three gentlemen, incidentally, who are acting the roles of policemen in this contest are Dr. Ting Cruz, Mr. Renato Ledesma, and Mr. Menardo Felipe. Here comes Willie Henawalao, out sprinting Philip Cesar, but missing the shot. Alan Kaidik for the rebound.
Intimidation there by Philip Cesar.
Ricky Brown with a three-point attempt. Won't go. Arnie Tuatles snaps it off to Michael Young. Still won't go. He gets it back. Tries again. Still won't go. Arnie Tuatles' turn again.
Arnie Tuatles, wow, helping
You know,
out.
that thing came around full circle, huh?
Right. And I'm sure Coach Turin Valenzuela is not very happy with that. Third kill, Ubalde and Israel were there, and they couldn't get that defensive board. Arnie Tuatles is going to play an important role also here for the Great Taste Coffee Makers.
The Coffee Makers off to a blazing start. Tanduay still scoreless after a minute and 50 seconds of action. Juan Fernandez has the basketball. His nemesis, Philip Cesar, as usual, is on him. A time-honored rivalry between two of the grizzled veterans and pioneers of the league. 1 second left in the shot clock. It's all over.
Yes, they did not realize that time was clicking away, and Great Taste Coffee is playing good defense. You know, that's another thing. When push comes to shove, that's where Tanduay plays their best. But Great Taste Coffee should be prepared in tonight's encounter to rough it up with the Rum Makers. That's key also here, Joe.
I like the way you put it. When push comes to shove, and let's hope that shove doesn't come to punch. Because that's going to be another ball game altogether. We've got a foul.
Actually, a held ball.
A held ball, I'm sorry.
Yes, Juan Fernandez went and double teamed on Michael Young. So they're going to both jump now.
Juan Fernandez jumping against Michael Young. Well, there's really no distinct advantage here on the part of Michael Young because Juan Fernandez is regarded really as a second import for the Tanduay Rum Makers, but he's got his right hand heavily bandaged.
Heavily taped, right.
Alan Kaidik uncorks, yes.
Oh, he's come out here to score for Great Taste Coffee. Alan.
Oh, the guy is smarting from all the ribbing he's taken from the Great Taste fans as well as detractors after his lackluster performance in game number one. On scoring only 5 points. A third kill takes one off Michael Young. A pad short, it falls right in the hands of Arnie Tuatles. Philip Cesar.
Too far off.
What was he trying to do?
Too high off. I think an alley-oop for Michael Young.
He must have been a visible player somewhere there. Anyway, that alley-oop certainly didn't materialize. It's a 6-0 count on the scoreboard after close to 3 minutes of action. The Rum Makers may have been saddled with the euphoria of the victory in game number one. Freddy Ubalde.
Okay, we were correct. When Thurs got that ball in the paint, there were 4 Rum Makers on him. What a pitch by Alan Kaidik.
And a perfect catch by Arnie Tuatles, but not so perfect shots. But he keeps it alive for Great Taste. He tries again and makes it. Tenacity.
Alan Kaidik and Arnie Tuatles are doing it all now for Great Taste Coffee. Huh? Very good quality minutes we're seeing right here at the start of the ball game.
Notwithstanding the fact that Arnie Tuatles' right thigh is heavily wrapped too. Padim Israel, they're getting some scoring suck now from their defensive minister. 8-2 is the count. First basket for Tanduay turned in by Padim Israel. Well, we had the occasion to be with Padim and oh, did you see that?
Yes.
Somebody conked Philip Cesar on the nose.
Notwithstanding that, Alan Kaidik, a 3-point shot. I think he's still immaculate 100% from the floor.
11-2 is the count, a 9-point lead for Great Taste. But remember, in all their past games, mainly those that were lost by the Great Taste Coffee Makers, they blazed to early leads only to fizzle out in the dying moments.
Right, exactly. Defensive piece of action there. It was Arnie Tuatles that came over and gave help defense again. Arnie Tuatles has been playing with a lot of maturity in this conference.
David Thurkill, the man to watch for Great Taste. Willie Henawalao bounces it over to Juan Fernandez. The 360-degree turn did not fall, but It drew a consolation prize in the form of a foul from Arnie Tuates.
Tuates gets his first personal foul, and there in that instance again, Mon Fernandez had it at low post and 3 coffee makers on top of Mon. So I think that's a battle cry for Great Taste Coffee. Collapse on Mon Fernandez, collapse on David Thurkill. Let them get their shots from the outside. Earlier, remember you said that Padim Israel sank one. And that's very good for the Tanduay Ram makers because if the other locals can shoot from outside, then Fernandez and Thurkill will not be double and triple teamed in the key.
Exactly. In the first game, actually, the only outside hitman for Turing Valenzuela was Freddie Ubaldi. Okay, here is Arnie Tuates. He takes one of Freddie. Yes, sir.
Very good shooting first stages from the floor for Great Taste Coffee, and that's what they do best.
A 10-point bulge now for the coffee makers with 7:53 to go in the first quarter. That's right, we're almost 5 minutes into the first semester of this game. We're using semester now. School year terms.
Okay.
And Israel will inbound from the baseline. Freddie Walde comes out of a pick from Mon Fernandez. Here's Mon taking one off Philip Cesar, and it's a tad short. Once again, beating Thurkill to the rebound is Michael Young. Here's Ricky Brown working the ball to the right wing. Now gets the baseline. He misses at point blank range, and counter fast break. It works here for the Tanduay Ram makers. Goes to Patim Israel. They don't get any fast break points.
And Felix Cesar pointing a finger at Thurkill, but the referee did not blow his whistle.
Here's Alan Kaidik. As cool as a cucumber.
Whew. That's Alan Kaidik for you.
15-3, a dozen-point lead for the Great Taste Coffee makers.
You know, an early timeout might be called by Coach Turing Valenzuela. He'll have to regroup. It's a 15-3. Yes, there's the timeout we're expecting. We'll be back.
A fire-diver and grimly determined Great Taste squad coming out of their huddle with Coach Baby DeLupan. They're up by 12 points with 7 minutes and 12 seconds. While you can understand why the coffee makers are playing this way right at the outset, the significance of winning this second game is not lost on them because a second victory in a row here for Tanduay would make their chances of a comeback very grim indeed. Freddie Ubaldi, in the meantime, just sunk his first charity for the 4th point of Tanduay in this ball game.
Yes, not only grim, Joe, but that's going to demoralize the squad. 2 straight defeats. And those 15 points by Great Taste Coffee have been scored 9 points by Alan Kaidik and 6 points by Arnie Tuates. 2 players we thought would play key in this game.
Well, what we don't know yet is how hot Ricky Brown is. He hasn't been taking too many attempts. And here's Michael Young banging bodies with David Thurkill in midair and getting his bucket. A steal by Arnie Tuates. And it's a 4-point swing by the Great Taste Coffee makers. Boy, these guys are going berserk.
Yes, and talk about maturity. He really... Oh, but he seems to be limping now.
He's limping. He's hurt his right knee, and he's asking to be relieved. And there's only 4 players on the floor right now for Great Taste. But Alan Kaidik.
Alan Kaidik and Arnie Tuates. Wow. I don't think Coach Turing Valenzuela expected this from these 2 locals, Joe.
Well, unless somebody calls a timeout here, Great Taste will have to make do with 4 players as they try desperately to wrap up Arnie Tuates' right thigh. There was no injury actually on the part of Arnie Tuates. His wraps just came loose.
Right, the tape just came loose, and he's playing without that now.
21-7 is the count. Big 14-point lead for the Great Taste Coffee makers. We're close to the halfway point of the first quarter. And this has to be a record low for Tanduay, scoring only 7 points in 6 minutes of action. A fall away by Ricky Brown won't go. Mon Fernandez for the rebound. It's open court basketball now with Freddie Ubaldi at the helm. Tuates tries to stop the shot in vain. Freddie Ubaldi, the outside sniper for Tanduay. They need all the outside artillery they can get.
You know, Alan Kaidik has come to play with a lot of vengeance here. Padim Israel held him to 5 points in the first game. But no way, Jose. He tells Padim, I'm going to score right in your face. I think he's got 12 points. 11.
11 points, indeed. Michael Young in the 3-point region. David Thurkill keeping a very close eye on him. His fall away is no good, but he draws a foul from Willie Henry-Lau.
First personal for Willie Henry-Lau.
Incidentally, David Thurkill of the Rum Makers, you probably notice him sporting a specially designed pair of basketball shoes from Crosby, the official basketball shoes of the PPA. And before anything else, a timeout. Here's one for you, Mr. Trillo. Get an eyeful of that gorgeous face in the crowd. I would love to run into her. What faces?
Faces, no, I tell you, the crowd at Faces look just like her, Joe. The place to go.
And here's Michael Young, looking for his 4th marker in the bag. 23-9. 14-point advantage for the Great Taste Coffee makers, looking to level the series at 1-1 in this second game. David Thirdkill works it over smartly to Willie Henwalao, who knocks it off the foot of Philip Cesar. During that timeout, we noticed how Philip Cesar followed the lead of Arnie Tuadles. He also removed the wraps from his injured ribcage.
Right.
I think it was bothering him no end.
Yes, and Arnie Tuadles was substituted by Joy Carpio. I think they're putting the tapes around his leg again, or thigh.
That's probably hurting. Probably suffered a contusion there somewhere. It's not a knee injury, it's a thigh injury. Ricky Brown connects from the corner.
Guns blazing for Great Taste Coffee, and you know, those were really quality minutes put in by Arnie Tuadles. He had about 3 interceptions, and that can really demoralize your opponent.
And I think Mon Fernandez is really suffering from a painful right hand. He took the wraps away from it too. Alan Kaidig unleashes from the 3-point region and misses this time. Counter fast break into works here for the Rob makers wearing the light colored jerseys. If you're watching this in color, the Great Taste Coffee makers are resplendent in their yellow uniforms with a white trim. Padim Israel is open, and he connects again.
2 for 2 for Padim Israel from the field.
There is the offensive game of Padim Israel that had been conspicuously missing from the last several games of Tanduay, although he's been very consistent as a defensive specialist. Michael Young working against David Thirdkill. The follow away is good. Hey, Great Taste can't do anything wrong, at least in this first quarter. 27-11.
You know, Joy, watch when the Great Taste Coffee is in their offensive. You'll see about 10 photographers there, just all with the cameras up. I wish we could take a shot of that.
Oh boy. That would make a great, memorable souvenir photo. And Mr. Ledesma blows his whistle from the rear. Carpio is slapped. His first personal. That would be the 14th foul for Great Taste against only 2 for Tanduay. And Willie Henwalao will inbound from the left sideline.
4 minutes, 9 seconds left in the first quarter.
Israel versus Joy Carpio. Michael Young has amply covered David Thirdkill.
There's the Alan Kaidik coming over to give help defense.
They cannot spot an open man.
Joy Carpio might get his second personal. Juan Fernandez. Yes, I think that's the second personal for Joy Carpio.
You know, Baby Dalupan seems to have worked out a very smart defensive blueprint for game number 2, huh?
You know, the one that double teams Thirdkill is the one on the opposite side of the court, and that's Alan Kaidik.
A great follow-up by David.
That time, yes. Good position by David Thirdkill. Nets him 2 points.
27-13. Still a whopping 14-point lead for Great Taste with 3 minutes and 42 in the balance for the first quarter. Joey Carpio goes outside to Philip Cesar. Philip looking to join the elite club of 10,000 point shooters in the league. He's only 35 points away from it. He hasn't scored a basket here so far. Oh, Alan Kaidik didn't take very good care of the basketball. That's not a backing violation, but only 4 seconds to go. Desperation shot by Philip Cesar.
From his backcourt.
That's right.
Well, he had to do something. Time was running out.
Thirdkill against Alan Kaidik and Michael Young, leaving Padim Israel open, but he goes to Freddy Hubalde. He draws a beat in the basket. Bullseye!
Good ball rotation there. Good ball movement. Padim was open, but he saw more open. Freddy Hubalde gave it up.
Well, that is one of the tenets of a real professional. Padim Israel realizes his limitations. He knows that Freddy has the better outside shot.
Now Tanduay starting to play better defense. Unlike the opening minutes of the first quarter here.
The southpaw shot by Michael Young and Ricky Brown follows up. 29-15, back to a 14-point edge for Great Taste. Time down to 2 minutes and 40 seconds in this first act of the unfolding drama.
There's Kaidik giving help defense. And then he'll look for his man because Thirdkill stopped dribbling that ball.
Juan Fernandez puts up the elegant shot, draws the foul from Philip Cesar. Only his first.
Only the first, right.
You know, Philip Cesar played a great defensive job on Mon Fernandez in the first game, but Mon Fernandez was able to extricate himself in the closing minutes to even act out the hero's role.
Right, that's when it counted most.
29-16. Tanduay nibbling away at that deficit. It now stands at 13, and you can just make that 12. 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Great Taste is on the verge of team foul trouble with 6, Tanduay with 2. Ricky Brown. The cerebral call general for Great Taste, taking one of Willing and will allow the follow-up by Philip Cesar draws a foul. All right, it's tit for tat. It's Mon Fernandez's turn now to pick up his personal off Philip Cesar.
You really had to dig deep into his bag of tricks. Used a lot of experience to get that foul off Mon Fernandez.
You know, that's another very interesting sidelight of this series. This personal duel. The time-honored rivalry between Mon Fernandez and Philip Cesar, 2 of the brainiest centers in the entire league.
Right. And a lot of credit will have to go also to Philip Cesar for limiting Mon Fernandez. Nobody does that to Mon, just no one.
Well, they say that alone among the locals in the league, only Philip Cesar can contain Mon Fernandez on a one-on-one basis. 31-17, 14-point advantage for Great Taste. 2:16 to go in the first quarter. Willie Hinoalao has to cope with Alan Kaidik. Not very much motion offense here, but it's a try Rob Makers.
Right.
Juan Fernandez makes his move. Leaves Philip Cesar behind.
Beautiful move that time. Nobody switched over and Mon saw the open lane.
31-19. All right, the Rum Makers are keeping that deficit down to a manageable level. 12 points, a minute and 52 to go. Still in the first quarter. Full house here at the Ultra for game number 2 of this championship series. Alan Kaidik sails in and misses with a layup. Loose ball, struggle for one by Willie Hinoalao. There goes the pitch to third kill. He throws Philip Cesar off balance for the easy 2.
Nothing Philip Cesar could do there.
31-21. All right. Looks like Tanduay is on the right track.
Right. Great Ace Coffee at 16 fouls now. 3 for Tanduay. There's isolation play for Michael Young.
A tad short with that 3-point attempt. And Mr. Ledesma declares a foul on the loose ball struggle.
Yes. That's the second personal for Willie. And Poncho de la Cruz, last game's hero also. He scored 4 points in the closing minute of play. I think might have to come in for Hinoalao. Arnie Tuades is looking fine now. He's coming in for Joy Carpio.
Looks like his thigh wraps are in place again. Arnie Tuades from Cebu, Willie Hinoalao from Cebu, and a spate of other guys all from Cebu, including Romy Quintanar. That guy was not from Cebu. He's from Houston.
Houston Cougar, former.
33-21, 12-point lead for Great Taste. Time down to 64 seconds in the first quarter. David third kill. Goes outside to Freddy Ubalde. Third kill. Medium jumper is good. Okay, that was only his 6th point, incidentally. Alan Kaidik is now well covered by Padim Israel. They're putting their best man on Alan Kaidik, who's turned out to have the hot hand for Great Taste tonight. Ricky Brown is threatening to explode too. There's the lob pass intended for Arnie Tuades. Miscommunication, clearly.
Okay, De La Cruz comes into the ball game for Willie Hinoalao, who's got 2 personal fouls.
And Arnie profusely apologizes to Philip Cesar. Looks like he acknowledges his fault in that particular blunder. De La Cruz goes to Freddy Ubalde. Juan Fernandez in the right wing. The elongated arms of Philip Cesar making things very tough for him, forcing him to a fall-away shot that falls short. All right, good outlet pass to Alan Kaidik. He consummates.
That time, Alan Kaidik took 2 steps in the air, Joe. He just hung and stuck the basket.
Only 10 seconds to go in this first quarter. Still a 12-point lead for Great Taste. Third kill. He's not exactly known for his 3-point shots, but he had to take it in the face of the dying seconds, and that's about the size of the first quarter. We'll be right back.